Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and we're producing this episode for Forbes, where I'm a contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. Our guest today is 8-medal winning Olympian Apolo Ohno, who is with us today. We're thrilled to have him. We're talking about cryptocurrency, so you don't want to miss this episode.
Welcome to Your Mark on the World, bringing you another changemaker with champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Apolo, welcome to the show.
Devin, thanks for having me.
We're thrilled to have you and appreciate you taking the time to be here. Fresh home from the Winter Olympics in PyeongChang. What was your, give us the 30-second view of what your experience was like being there in Seoul in Korea for the Olympics.
Sure. So, the Winter Olympic Games are smaller than the summer. So there's a different kind of feeling that occurs in the atmosphere of what is the Olympic Games and Winter Olympics. But overall, the experience was phenomenal. It was fantastic. The U.S. team didn't perform as well as we'd like. However, the overall cultural and presentation that the South Koreans put on was really beautiful, and it was fantastic. So I think it was a highly successful Olympic Games, and I feel blessed to be a part of them. I think it's a once in every 4-year opportunity, and I love going to every single Olympics.
Now, this was, I think, your first time as a commentator. Am I wrong, or did you commentate before?
It wasn't my first time. I went to London in 2012. I went to Sochi, Russia in 2014. So I've been, I retired in 2010 from my pursuit in the Olympic space. But I any chance I can get, for me, it's like a reunion. I go to the Olympic Games. I see all my old friends that I've known for 20 plus years, past champions and new champions. So it's a really unique and special time.
Well, I live in Salt Lake City. Your first Olympics was here in Salt Lake in 2002. What was the highlight of that games for you?
The highlight of those games in 2002, I would have to definitely say, was just the overall experience of having an Olympic Games on home soil. It was post 9/11. The country, Americans were reeling from what had happened in New York. And I think that and people in general were looking for some type of unification effort, something to cheer for one solid team and just one team. We have professional sports. We have our state, sports that we love to cheer for and those teams associated. But the Olympic Games is special, and it occurred at a time, I think, that we really needed as a country to come together, heal, and cheer for that one team. So for me, I was only 19 years old. And it was difficult for me to truly understand the scope and I think the importance of those games. But every year that goes on now, I understand the impact that it had on the people who volunteered, the people of Salt Lake City and Utah in general, and then how it impacted our society and as our country as a whole. So aside from my Olympic wins and winning medals there, I think the overall kind of resonating memories are always going to be ingrained in my mind.
Well, we need to talk about what's going on now, Apolo. I appreciate you helping indulging me as I reminisce a little bit with you. But let's talk about what you're doing now. You're launching a new blockchain crypto technology. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Sure. So we are focused on the exchange side of cryptocurrency and blockchain-related technology. So we have an ecosystem that we call Hybrid Block. Hybrid Block is a fully functional ecosystem that targets and concentrates on 3 very specific types of individuals. The retail investor or consumer who doesn't know a lot about cryptocurrency but has may have heard about it through a friend, through your show, on the newspaper, on television, somewhere, and they're interested in participating. They don't know how to start. They don't know what these things are, and they just want something that's simple, easy to use, that can take them through that experience. So that's called base trade. Our second product is called Hybrid Exchange, and this is for individuals who we call cryptocurrency or crypto asset enthusiasts who already know what Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, etc. are, and they want to increase their amount of exposure to other altcoin assets. And so that cryptocurrency exchange primarily focuses on crypto to crypto transactions. And it's very much like we see today, like the Bitrexes, like the Binances, like the Krakens of the world, except for we focus on having something called a global order book, which allows individuals to come to our site and still get access to all of the other exchanges and their tokens without having to have an account set up, AML, KYC, and verification processes set up separately on those accounts, and having those other accounts funded. So we just want to utilize and simplify the ability to come to our crypto exchange, hybrid exchange, but you still have access to all the other markets. That's the second product. The third product is called Hybrid Terminal. This is really geared towards the true professional trader and or institution who's looking to have the different types of sophisticated tools that they're used to, having them spend years on Wall Street and implement some of those critical pieces into the mix via a downloadable, isolated trading platform that runs as a program onto your PC. And from there, you can customize, you can set up ping times, you can have access to all the real-time data quotes, almost like a DMA, aka a direct market access terminal that we see on Wall Street today. So 3 very different products, very different types of individuals. We believe that individual and people will graduate through those products. You start as a beginner, you go through intermediate, and then eventually, if you want, you can become an expert in the space. One thing I should mention, Devin, that we have, which is different, is that we focus heavily on education. So although there may be many other exchanges out there that really kind of adhere and provide services to the existing market, our goal as an entity and as a company is to focus on getting the next 100 million people who don't currently trade crypto assets and getting them into the system through an educational portal. We call that Hybrid Central. And by educating the average every single day retail investor or consumer, we feel that that empowers them to make better, smarter, more equipped and informed decisions about where they're going to put their money. And I think that's the real first step towards mass adoption.
Well, that it really is a critical gap in the crypto world, because there's so many of us who are trying to figure it out.
Yes.
Education is paramount indeed. Tell us a little bit about how you got up to speed. Where did your interest start? How have you learned about crypto? You've become quite an expert.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert by any means, but I do think that I was lucky enough to have some really close friends of mine who've been in the space, what I consider to be very early. And they had the foresight to understand that the technology and the conversation starting ability that Bitcoin and blockchain really have. And they shared that with me in late 2012 and 2013. And that's when my journey began down this wild rabbit hole that we know today is cryptocurrency and all the assets and all the different altcoins that exist today. So that's how my real kind of entry into the system began, and my participation level has been ramping ever since. In 2015 and 2016, we were looking at ways in which to incorporate these different types of payment gateways and systems into our existing businesses. And also, because I spend so much time in Asia, I was always looking at ways and how I could impact the societies there, just given the population density and having a great understanding of what the appetite is for these particular markets and how we can service those individuals. So for example, when I use the number 100 million people who are new users in this space, that's a target market that I don't think anyone's really going after, but we feel we have access to that market, and we feel those individuals are very hungry to do so. And they started just like me. And I think when you talk about the companies and the why of how we started these companies, it really stemmed from some of the pain points that I had when I was coming into the space. It was difficult. It was hard to understand. What is a digital wallet? How do I send this address to there? Is it safe? What's going on? All these different types of terminology that the average person doesn't truly understand, which really limits them and builds a barrier in terms of getting the mass adoption. So we want to break down that barrier and create a normalization approach so that individuals, no matter where they reside in Asia, have access to this technology and the opportunity to participate in the economy just like I did. And maybe they don't feel like that they're early enough, but the opportunity is still very ripe. And I think that because it's so early, we're simply at the tip of the iceberg.
So is the platform up and running today?
The platform is not live, but it is working. We're finishing the UI, UX interfaces right now in the front end. We're still doing a bit of testing. One of the products, Hybrid Terminal, has been in development for about 11 and a half months. So that's shooting at a later date, but that's a much more robust and secure platform that I think that most people are used to. That's really geared towards the professional trader. The base trade and the hybrid exchange will be ready to go in April.
Will the product be available for people in the United States or only for people in Asia?
Well, in terms of who we're focusing on for our ICO efforts, we're not accepting any US money, but we do want to get people into our exchange via all the different areas of the world. If that requires us to get the specific licenses, we will go start those processes. As you guys may know, it takes time, right? For example, a money transmitter's license or a money's remittance license in all 50 states have to be attacked one by one, and every approval process takes time. California is different than Utah. New York is different than New Jersey, right? All these different areas all over the country have very specific regulatory bodies who conduct their own systems in terms of approval. So yes, do we want to service US customers? Eventually, absolutely. It's a great, great place to have. But until we're fully ready, we want to steer clear. And also because of the regulatory environment, we're not quite certain of what exists inside the US. And until that has better framework, AKA sandbox, I think it's smart for us to concentrate where we have our greatest strengths with those government entities and with those legislators and regulators, because we are talking to them almost every single week.
Excellent. So what will in April, an Asian customer will be able to come on the platform and will they be able to set up a wallet on your platform, or do they need to have a wallet somewhere else?
No, they can come to the platform. We will walk them through the process. We're spending heavily on customer service. We've already run call centers in Asia before. So we just want to have people be able to come into the space in April, be able to purchase their first cryptocurrency ever, be able to hold it, be able to sell it, get in and out of the system, painless, easy, as frictionless as possible.
A lot of people in the crypto space seem, I don't want to say they are, but seem to be coming to market with an ICO and a business plan. I think you're saying you're far past business plan.
Yes.
Tell us what you've got. Tell us a little bit about what you've done, what you've accomplished, your existing infrastructure, your staff, your team, et cetera.
Sure. So we've been working on this project for about a little over a year, actually. So our goal was to have a fully functional product before we ever went live with our ICO. Now there's delays that happen, but we feel very confident we can still hit those deadlines. The number one focus for us was set up offices, locations, teams, development, etc. So our development team, we've got two separate teams. We've got technology teams based out of New York and Korea, and we've got another technology team that's based out of Kiev in the Ukraine. All these individuals are working on very specific types of things. Oh, we also have people here in Santa Monica as well, in California. So yes, we are not just a white paper with an idea to create something. We've been under development. We are all individuals who've run businesses in the past. We're very interested in providing value to everybody who wants to participate in the ever-going economy, if it is a crypto asset economy. And we believe that we can increase the adoption rate. So I think that's the change that we're seeing. 2017, in my opinion, was the year of the ICO. Everybody was doing one. People were just popping up left and right. They wanted to make as much money as possible. Many of them have gone downhill since. But there are some great technologies that have kind of resided and also flourished. We want to be one of those. We want to be the major facilitator of trade in the industry. And every single great ICO or great technology who wants a platform in which they can trade their value or their token or their coin, we want to provide that service to those individuals. So we do feel that we are different. We do feel that we've spent a lot of money over the past year developing, putting together the team, having all of the licenses legal, which has been very expensive and very robust, but is important, right? As you guys know, regulation is coming. It's coming aggressive, and we want to make sure that we are in the prime position to educate those regulators and work collectively with them to ensure that our future sandbox really has the type of beneficial attributes associated with it that really benefit all of us, not just as corporate entities who are in the space, but also individuals who are trying to participate.
As you've been making progress toward your ICO, you've already started with some pre-sales. How much total are you hoping to raise? How much have you gathered so far?
Sure. So we did a hard cap of 50 million on all of our efforts. I don't know the existing tally, but I believe that we are somewhere around a little over halfway, maybe a little bit over 65%, somewhere around then. Probably by the time this airs, I'm assuming we'll be probably closer to 80, 90%. To be completely honest with you, the amount of just influx of interest in our project has been really overwhelming, and we haven't even started our marketing efforts, which is really strange. So I don't know where people are hearing about us, but the cryptocurrency community is an incredible kind of resource and tool to really get the word out there. And I feel that we're gonna really move forward to make sure that we can really service everybody who wants to participate in some capacity.
Apolo, you've had an amazing career. I mean, you think about all the different things you've done, all the lessons you've learned. What's the most important takeaway from your career so far?
Wow, that's a great question. The number one takeaway from my career as a competitive athlete, I think, is the ability to adapt to an ever-growing and ever-changing environment. As an athlete, you are forced to find ways to win consistently and effectively, and do it in a way that every generation, every 4 years in the Olympics, you have a new generation of young athletes who are different, they're faster, they're stronger, they're better, and you have to find ways to adapt. And I think that really translates in the world where in short track speed skating, you get knocked down, you lose, you don't always win. You have to learn how to go back to the drawing board, how to reallocate your energy, and find ways to be competitive in that space. And I think life is no different, and business is no different. You're always going to be thrown curveballs. You're always going to have variables to change. You're always going to get knocked down. But I think it's how you respond is where the true definition of character really lies. No one believes that you're going to be a business that's not going to have its faults or its losses. It's how you mitigate them from the beginning, plan accordingly, and also how you react to them to make sure that your consumers or individuals who are being serviced or utilizing your products are at least the least amount kind of reactive in that perspective, and also they have the greatest benefit along the way. So I think that's the number one tool is that, look, we know it's going to happen. It's just how do we always consistently get back up and always evolve so that we can win in the space.
Apolo, as you contemplated this project, I wonder if you just share us what motivated you to do it. Why did you want to tackle this crypto project?
Sure. I get that question often. Why did I decide to go into cryptocurrency exchanges out of all the different technologies? Look, I've been investing into the space. I've been participating in the space for not a long time, but for years. I've been just kind of understanding why this didn't work and why this exchange was having success. Is this a real quote? Is this real depth of order book? Are this really, how many bots are running on your system? And I just felt like, man, there had to have been a better way, and there's got to be a way to participate in this space that would really that I would feel good about, whether I was having my father come in and buy cryptocurrency for the first time, or a professional trader who worked at a hedge fund for 20 years. I wanted to service all different elements. And so I felt like this was the best way for us as a company, as an entity. I felt that I understood the model very well. Sometimes these protocol layer level technologies are phenomenal, but I didn't always truly understand how and when they were going to be viable. Some of these technologies they may not be available for 10, 20 years. Who knows how long? So although I respect them and understand them to a certain degree, I wanted to have something that I really understood, and I understand how exchanges work.
Apolo, what is your superpower?
My superpower? I don't think I have a superpower. The only power that I have is I just work really, really, really hard. That's ingrained in my DNA, and that's ingrained into our company is we understand that hard work is really the backbone behind all great success stories, and we're not afraid of it.
No, fantastic. Apolo, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. Before you go, will you take just a minute and tell people how they can learn more about Hybrid Block and how they can connect with you personally to learn more?
Sure, Devin. So, for all the individuals out there who are interested in participating or learning more about the ecosystem that we've created, please visit our website, hybridblock.io, and look for all of our details. We've got a Telegram channel that you can join. Please check that out. But all the information necessary is on our actual channel, hybridblock.io. Look forward to hearing from you. Ask away, and hopefully we can work together.
All righty. It's been a pleasure to have you, Apollo, and we wish you every success.
Thank you, Devin. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Let's do some good.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was recorded via Google Hangouts on Air and is available at youtube.com/Devin Thorpe. Subscribe to this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes by searching for Your Mark on the World. Every weekday, Devin hosts a CEO, celebrity, entrepreneur, or other changemaker here on the Your Mark on the World show to inspire and prepare you to make your mark. Devin is a champion of social good, writing about, advocating for, and advising people who are doing good. He is a Forbes contributor who is a recognized thought leader in social entrepreneurship, impact investing, and crowdfunding. To book Devin as a speaker, visit devinthorpe.com. Learn more about Devin's work at yourmarkontheworld.com.